Back in my teenage years, I was unbearable. Seriously, no one could deal with me. And as I got older, nothing changed. If anything, it got worse. And honestly, part of that was on my parents. They just didn't care. They never tried to stop me. But after high school, something shifted. For the first time, I realized if I don't get my life together, no one will do it for me. So I started working, a lot, nonstop. And somehow, I made it into my dream college. The first years were rough, really rough. But I didn't quit. And eventually, I landed a job I once thought was impossible. And then something happened, something I never saw coming. At a work conference, I met him. His name was Ethan. He was different, calm, confident, real. And somehow, we just clicked. A few months later, we were together. We traveled. We laughed. We lived like everything finally made sense. And for the first time in my life, I felt happy. My parents always praised her, supported her, and next to her, I felt invisible. People admired her looks, talked about how perfect she was, and me, I was just okay. That's it. And yeah, that hurt more than I can explain. But the worst part, she knew it, and she used it. She'd say things like, "No one's ever going to love you," over and over again. Those words stuck with me. They broke something inside me. I became insecure, quiet, closed off. And my parents, they never took my side, not once. They ignored how I felt because she was everything they wanted, perfect. And little by little, I started pulling away, even as a kid, even as a teenager. I felt like I was on my own. Dova was always bringing friends over, especially when our parents weren't home. They'd walk into my room like it was nothing, like I didn't even exist. And one day, they crossed the line. They ruined my school project, like something was already building. Dova couldn't stand it, so she did what she always does. She made it about herself, right in the middle of my party. She stood up and announced her engagement to Jeremy, just like that, out of nowhere. And the craziest part? You could tell. He had no idea. He looked confused, caught off guard. But Dova didn't care, because it worked. Just like that, all the attention shifted. Everyone started talking about him, about his money, his lifestyle, exactly what she wanted. Later, she made sure I saw it. The gifts he bought her, the expensive things. She'd wave them in front of me and say, "You'll never have this. You'll never find someone like him. Who would even want you?" And yeah, that stuck with me, more than I'd like to admit. She always knew how to make me feel small, like I wasn't enough, like I never would be. But this time, I didn't stay quiet. I looked at her and said, "I'm not like you. I don't need someone else's money. I can take care of myself. You want a rich husband? Go find one." For the first time, I pushed back, and she hated it because she couldn't control me anymore. She was the most selfish, toxic person I had ever known. A week later, she got engaged to Jeremy, officially this time. And by then, I was already gone. I had moved away, started my own life. So no, I didn't go to her engagement. And honestly, I didn't regret it. During all those years in college, I didn't talk to her, not once. And honestly, it felt peaceful. Coming home for the holidays was actually nice for a change, because Dova wasn't there anymore. She was living with Jeremy, even during holidays. They were always somewhere else. Exotic trips, luxury vacations, the kind of life she always wanted. A year later, they got married. And of course, it was a huge wedding. Expensive, over the top, exactly her style. Jeremy paid for most of it, and my dad covered the rest, just to keep things polite. Because Dova She wasn't making any money, not a single dollar. But 3 years later, everything fell apart. They got divorced. And the reason? They wanted completely different lives. Jeremy wanted a family. He wanted kids. Dova didn't, not even close. He said he never tried to force her, but she wouldn't even talk about it. She kept avoiding the conversation. But somehow, my life started to change. After high school, things slowly began to fall into place. I worked harder than I ever had. Late nights, no breaks. Just one goal, get into my dream college. And eventually, I did. The first years weren't easy, not even close, but I pushed through, and in the end, I landed a job I was actually proud of, and that's when everything shifted. At a work conference, I met him. His name was Atlas. He was smart, kind, confident, and from the very first moment, we just clicked, like it was effortless, like we'd known each other forever. A few months later, we started dating, and everything felt easy. We traveled together, went on dates, even went hiking. Every moment with him just made us stronger. Atlas was really close with his family, so pretty quickly, he introduced me to them, his parents, his brothers, and they welcomed me like I belonged, like I was already part of their world. But when it came to my family, I hesitated. I kept putting it off, and the reason was simple. Dova, I knew her too well. I knew how she was, and deep down, I had this feeling, this really bad feeling, that if I brought him into my world, she would ruin everything. She always had everything growing up, the attention, the praise, the best of everything. And now, for the first time, my life was better than hers, and I knew it, which also meant she would never accept it, especially when it came to my relationship. Still, I couldn't avoid it forever. Atlas started asking questions. Why hadn't he met my family yet? Why was I always putting it off? And after a year and a half, I finally told my dad about him. He was happy for me, genuinely happy. He said I deserved someone good, and then he invited us over for dinner. I was excited, but at the same time, I was terrified because I knew Dova, and I knew exactly what she was capable of. She would do anything to ruin my life. Atlas already knew my family wasn't easy. But this time, I told him everything about Dova, what she had done, what she could do. I didn't hide anything, and he just listened, calm, unbothered. Then he looked at me and said, "It's okay. I can handle it." And I wanted to believe him. I really did. A few days after I called my dad, Dova called me, and that alone was strange. She never called me, not once. But suddenly, she wanted to talk. She started asking about Atlas, who he was, what he did. When I was coming home, but it wasn't really about me. It was all about him, and I knew exactly why. My mom must have told her that I was in a serious relationship, and just like that, Dova switched, all sweet, all friendly, like nothing had ever happened. But I wasn't stupid. I knew her too well. That nice version of her, it always came with a reason, and never a good one. That's when I started questioning everything. Should I even bring Atlas there? Should I let her anywhere near him? Because deep down, I knew her intentions weren't good, not even close. I even thought about doing it differently, inviting my parents to my place instead, keeping him away from her, keeping us safe. Before I tell you what happened next, I want to hear your thoughts. What do you think is going to happen? Because at this point, I already had a feeling, a really bad one. You've seen the title. You know this story doesn't end well. But still, I'm curious. What would you do in my place? Would you bring him home? or keep him away from all of it? Let me know what you think, and I'll tell you what actually happened next. First of all, thank you for all the comments. A lot of you asked about Dova, so here's a bit more context. Things between her and my parents, especially my dad, changed after her divorce. And honestly, she brought it on herself. She used to be a good student, smart, focused. But once she got into college, everything shifted. Her priorities changed. It wasn't about studying anymore. It was about her looks, her image, her lifestyle. And then she met a guy. His name was Jeremy. He was rich, like really rich. And just like that, she got involved with him, dropped everything else, including her education. During my senior year, I was focused on one thing, getting into my dream college. While I was studying day and night, Dova kept telling me, "You're never getting in," over and over again, like she needed me to fail. But I didn't. I got in. And for the first time in my life, my parents were proud of me. Actually proud. They were happy, excited, and everything finally felt different. For once, the attention was on me, not her, and she couldn't stand it. You could see it, the way she looked at me, the way she smiled, like it wasn't real. My parents even threw a small party, family, friends, all to celebrate me. And while everyone else was happy, I could feel it, that tension in the room. Of course she did. I asked her to move, calmly, because I wanted to sit there. She shot me a look, annoyed, but she moved. Still, she didn't stop. She kept asking him questions about everything, his hobbies, what he liked, and every time he answered, she'd jump in with, "Oh, I love that too." Even when it was obvious, she had no idea what she was talking about. Then she started saying how similar she and Atlas were, laughing, throwing little looks at me, like it was all a joke. But everyone could tell it wasn't. There was nothing innocent about it. Atlas looked uncomfortable. He kept shutting it down, going back to talking with my parents, ignoring her. Her attempts were obvious, almost desperate. After dinner, I went to take a shower. Atlas stayed behind, and that's when she made her move. She walked into his room, said she lost her phone, and asked him to call it so she could find it. But that wasn't the point. She just wanted his number, and she got it. Later, he told me everything. While I was gone, she tried to play the victim, talking about her divorce, how broken she was, how it took her years to recover, trying to make him feel sorry for her. And somehow, my mom joined in, complaining about Jeremy, adding fuel to it. After a while, Atlas turned to me and said, "Want to go for a walk?" Just us, before I could even answer. Dova jumped in. "I'll come too." Atlas looked at her, confused, then calmly said, "I actually meant just us." And in that moment, she froze. Her face turned red. It was this. He didn't tell me, and that shook my trust. I told him that, straight. He looked at me and said, "I would never fall for her. Not now, not ever." That I had nothing to worry about. But still, I've seen enough stories to know that's exactly how it starts. I didn't want to be naive. I didn't want to look like a fool, just blindly trusting. So I told Atlas, "If she calls again, give me the phone." I wanted to catch her, and eventually, she did. One night, middle of the night, she called. Atlas woke me up. I answered, and the moment she heard my voice, silence. Then, "Oh, wrong number," and she hung up. I tried calling her back the next day, again and again. No answer. So I texted her from Atlas's phone, told her it was me, told her to stop calling him, that if anything was wrong, she should call me, not him. After that, she disappeared. And for a moment, I finally felt relief, like it was over, like she was out of our lives. But I should have known better, because after Atlas proposed, everything started again. She saw the ring, and just like that, she was back, texting him, sending videos, acting like nothing had happened. And that's when I snapped. I called her, told her to stop, to get a life, to leave us alone. She barely said anything, just listened, while I let everything out, years of anger, all at once. And I thought that was it. But I was wrong, because the moment I hung up, my mom called me, furious, yelling, saying I went too far, that I hurt Dova, that I was being cruel. Apparently, Dova told her everything, twisted it, made herself the victim, said I accused her of trying to steal my fiancé. And then my mom said something that hit me hard. You pushed her too far. She's having panic attacks. She's been struggling for years. Can't you just be kinder to your sister? And in that moment, I realized something, and she walked away, back to her room. But I knew this wasn't over, not even close. It's only been a few days since that visit, and I can feel it. She's going to try again, find another way, push harder. And yeah, I'm scared. But at the same time, I trust him. And maybe this is the moment that will show me everything I need to know. Update 2. Hey everyone, I'm engaged. Atlas proposed last month. We were on a trip, and he got down on one knee with a ring, and I just froze in the best way possible. I couldn't stop smiling. It felt unreal. But after that visit to my parents, just like I expected, Dova didn't stop. She started texting him. Simple things at first. How are you? Hope you're doing well. Atlas loves cats. And suddenly, so did she. Out of nowhere, she started sending him cute cat videos, even got a cat herself, just to keep it going. At first, Atlas showed me everything, every message, every fake, sweet check-in. She was trying so hard to seem caring, different. But after a while, he stopped mentioning her. And I thought, maybe she gave up. Maybe she moved on. So we stopped talking about her. We had our own lives, work, plans, everything moving forward. Until one day, I was scrolling through social media and I saw it. She added him, started liking everything, every post, every picture, even the old ones, years old, heart emojis, comments, like she was trying to leave a mark everywhere. And I didn't like it, not at all. So I did something I hadn't done before. I checked his phone, and what I saw didn't feel right. She was still messaging him from time to time, but he never opened them. And the messages, they were getting strange. She was getting desperate, trying anything to get his attention. I checked his call log, missed calls, multiple, including one at 3 a.m. That's when I got worried. So I talked to Atlas, asked him why he never told me she was still reaching out. He hesitated, said he was just ignoring her, that it didn't matter, that it wasn't worth bringing up. But I pushed, especially about the calls. And then he sat me down, calm, serious, and told me everything. One night she called him, crying, upset. He thought something was wrong, something serious. But then she started talking about her past, about Jeremy, about how hurt she was, saying she needed someone to talk to. Atlas stopped her, told her she should talk to our parents, that calling him that late wasn't appropriate, and that she should have come to me first. That part stayed with me, because what bothered me wasn't her. But this time, I didn't care anymore. I just laughed right in her face and told her, I don't want to be like you. Not even close. And maybe you should work on yourself. That set her off. Completely. She lost it, started yelling, telling me to get out of the house, but I didn't back down. "This isn't your house," I said. "It's our parents'. You don't get to control me." The next morning, I was packing my things, getting ready to leave, and that's when I noticed it. 2 of my dresses, ruined, cut up, with scissors, just like that. I took them downstairs, showed my parents, and this time, my dad didn't stay quiet. He snapped, told her it was enough, that he was done protecting her, done excusing her behavior, and she hated that. From that moment on, she hated me even more. But honestly, I didn't care. Not anymore. Until she crossed the line, the one thing she should have never touched. She started going after my boyfriend, and that's when I knew this wasn't over. After thinking it through and talking to Atlas, I made a decision. I wasn't going to hide him anymore. We were going to my parents' house, together, because if he was going to be in my life, I needed to know one thing. Would he stay loyal or fall for her games? I was nervous the entire drive there. I had this feeling in my chest, like something was about to go wrong. And the second we walked in, it started. Dova didn't even hesitate. She went straight for Atlas, barely let him greet my parents before throwing her arms around him, like they already knew each other. It was uncomfortable and honestly, embarrassing. She had clearly prepared for this. Her hair, freshly dyed dark, a new dress, makeup, nails, everything. Like she thought this was her moment, like he came there for her. The whole time, she kept interrupting conversations, trying to pull his attention, forcing her way into every moment, and everyone saw it. No one said anything, but no one was playing along either. At the dinner table, she rushed to sit next to him. Apparently, Dova had come to his room earlier, said she needed help, something small, harmless. But it wasn't, not even close. At some point, Atlas started feeling dizzy, weak, like something was off. That's when he tried to leave, but she didn't let it end there. His friend had a bad feeling, so he came back, turned on his camera, and walked in. And what he saw changed everything. Atlas was trying to push her away, telling her to stop, to leave him alone, while she was crossing every line, ignoring him completely. And it was all caught on video, proof of everything, right there. When his friend walked in, Dova switched instantly, like a different person. She tried to make it look like something mutual had just happened, covered herself, acted shocked, then quickly left the room. But what she didn't realize was that everything had already been recorded. On her way out, she even smirked, looked at his friend and said, "Don't tell anyone," like she thought she had control of the situation. When we walked in, Atlas was still there, barely conscious, disoriented. Even after just a few sips, he felt dizzy, sick. Something was clearly wrong. The drink was still there, untouched, with residue at the bottom. And in that moment, everything became clear. My parents were in shock. They couldn't believe she would go that far. My mom called her back, told her to come to the room. When Dova walked in, her makeup was smeared, but she still tried to act confident, like she was in control. She looked at all of us and said, "I know you're mad, but it wasn't one-sided. Atlas wanted this. He's been giving me signals since we met. Today, he convinced me." And that was it. That was the moment. My mom lost it, slapped her, and said, "We know the truth. We have everything on video." For the first time, Dova froze, completely. She didn't expect that, didn't expect proof, didn't expect to be exposed. My parents told her to leave immediately, before she could cause any more damage, And just like that, she was out. Security was told not to let her back in. At that point, everything made sense. She wanted people to believe there was something between her and Atlas, to ruin the wedding, to break us. But it didn't work, not this time. My dad called a doctor, and it was confirmed. Something had been put in Atlas's drink. That's why he felt that way. That's why he could barely stand. His family was furious, absolutely furious. People talked about it for days. But when Atlas finally recovered, we didn't stop. We moved forward. My dad walked me down the aisle, and despite everything, I was happy, truly happy. But I'd be lying if I said I wasn't shaken because of everything that happened. During his vows, Atlas added something I'll never forget. He promised to protect our relationship from anyone who tried to come between us, no matter who it was. And in that moment, I knew I chose the right person. After our honeymoon, my parents came to visit. They apologized to both of us for everything. My dad looked at us and said, "She's not part of this family anymore." He had kicked her out, told her she was on her own, and this time, he meant it. Looking back now, I still can't believe how far she went. All those years, the jealousy, the manipulation, the constant need to destroy anything good in my life. And in the end, she crossed a line she could never come back from. For a long time, I kept asking myself, why me? What did I ever do to deserve this? But now I understand. It was never about me. It never was. Some people, they don't know how to be happy for others. They don't know how to build, only how to take, how to break, and how to blame. But here's what I learned. You don't have to keep people like that in your life, even if they're family, especially if they're family, because peace is more important than blood, and respect is more important than history. Today, my life is different, calm, stable, safe. I'm married to someone who chose me, who stood by me, who never gave in to the chaos. And for the first time, I don't feel like I'm competing for love anymore. I just have it. And that's something she could never take from me for years. And that wasn't the only problem. He started noticing things. The late nights, the parties, the way she acted around other guys. Too comfortable, too close. And eventually, he said it out loud, that she never really loved him, that she married him for the lifestyle, for the money. And honestly, I wasn't even surprised. I kept thinking, how did it take him this long to see it? At one point, he even showed me proof, things I wish I hadn't seen, but they confirmed everything. And in the end, he walked away. And for the first time, my parents didn't defend her. They took his side. She dropped out of college for that marriage. And now, 5 years later, she had nothing. No degree, no career, nothing to fall back on. At home, she acted like the victim, like the divorce broke her. But honestly, she looked relieved, free. And it didn't take long. Within a month, she was back to her old life. Clubs, parties, new guys every week. Her whole life revolved around attention. You could see it all on her social media. Meanwhile, after 2 years of working, I landed my dream job. Great salary, real stability. My parents were proud. For once, everything felt right. I went home to celebrate. And my dad, he couldn't stop smiling. We were having dinner when Dova walked in, slightly drunk, and everything shifted. My dad looked at her, disappointed, and for the first time, he said it out loud, that she should have built something, that she was wasting her life, that I had done it right, and she hadn't. My mom tried to stop him, but it was too late. Dova snapped, stormed out, slammed the door, and in that moment, My dad finally saw it, who she really was. Later that night, she came into my room, and I knew this wasn't over. She looked at me and said, "You'll never be like me, no matter how much money you make." And then she went for the things she knew would hurt: my appearance, every insecurity I ever had. And just like that, I was right back there again. That same feeling, like I wasn't enough, something I worked on for weeks. I almost failed because of it. I was ready to tell my mom. I really was. But then, Dova stopped me. She looked me straight in the eyes and said, "Go ahead, I dare you." And then she threatened me. She had photos of me, bad ones I didn't want anyone to see. She said she'd send them to everyone at school. And at 14, insecure, scared, and completely alone, I believed her. So I stayed quiet. She never faced consequences, not once. And telling my parents? Pointless. They never really listened anyway. Dova did a lot of things that made me hate her. My mom never stood up for me. My dad tried sometimes, but it never lasted. And every time I spoke up, it only made things worse. One time, she took my phone and sent my worst photos to my friends, just because I told my dad about her. Another time, she spilled coffee all over my prom dress, ruined it completely. And then she started crying, played the victim, said it was an accident. And of course, everyone believed her. That was the moment I realized talking to my dad wouldn't change anything. So I stopped. For a long time, I didn't understand it, why she hated me so much. It didn't make sense. But later, I started to see it clearly. It was never really about me. That's just who she was. She needed attention, control, validation. And if she didn't get it, she'd destroy whoever was closest. Looking back now, she was a walking red flag. In every relationship she had, she cheated, lied, manipulated, every single time. And I hate to admit it, but she was also after one thing: money. She always chased it. Even now, one of her exes is still my friend. And trust me, that says everything you need to know. The truth is, she wasn't just difficult, she was cruel. And growing up, that never changed. As she got older, she only got worse. And honestly, that was on my parents. They never tried to raise her, never set boundaries. They just let it happen. This wasn't just about Dova anymore. Honestly, it was almost funny. Dova never suffered after that divorce. Not really. But I was done arguing. I hung up and told my dad, if this continues, I'm walking away. I can't be part of this anymore. I'm done being a piece in her game. And I meant it. I was exhausted. Update 3. I never thought she would go this far. She made my life difficult for years, but this was different. Because this time, she tried to go after my fiancé. Right before my wedding, everything before, the insults, the humiliation, the comments about my body, that was one thing. But this crossed every line. We were planning the wedding step by step. And after that fight, I stopped talking to my mom. For a while, until she called. She apologized, said she lost control, that seeing Dova like that scared her. But something still didn't feel right, because people started telling me things. One of my cousins said Dova had been talking to everyone, spreading her version of the story, saying I accused her of trying to steal my fiancé, saying I didn't deserve what I had, my job, my life, and especially Atlas, because in her mind, she was the one who deserved everything, the attention, the life, the man. I told my mom about it, and she just went quiet, then said, let it go. Focus on your wedding. Focus on your future. And for a moment, I tried to believe that, because everything seemed to be going according to plan. For a while, Dova went quiet, stayed out of our lives, and I almost believed it was over. Then the wedding day came. Everything was ready, the venue, the guests, the moment we'd been waiting for. I was getting ready when I got a call from Atlas's best friend. He sounded serious, told me to come to Atlas's room with my parents. I even joked, "Isn't the groom not supposed to see the bride?" But he didn't laugh. He just said, "You need to come, now." My heart dropped. I ran. When I got there, something was wrong. Very wrong. Atlas was on the bed, half conscious, barely able to speak, and his friend started explaining what had just happened. Apparently, Dova had come to his room earlier, said she needed help, something small, harmless, but it wasn't, not even close. At some point, Atlas started feeling dizzy, weak, like something was off. That's when he tried to leave, but she didn't let it end there. His friend had a bad feeling, so he came back, turned on his camera, and walked in. And what he saw changed everything. Atlas was trying to push her away, telling her to stop, to leave him alone, while she was crossing every line, ignoring him completely. And it was all caught on video, proof of everything, right there. When his friend walked in, Dova switched instantly, like a different person. She tried to make it look like something mutual had just happened, covered herself, acted shocked, then quickly left the room. But what she didn't realize was that everything had already been recorded. On her way out, she even smirked, looked at his friend and said, "Don't tell anyone," like she thought she had control of the situation. When we walked in, Atlas was still there, barely conscious, disoriented. Even after just a few sips, he felt dizzy, sick. Something was clearly wrong. The drink was still there, untouched, with residue at the bottom. And in that moment, everything became clear. My parents were in shock. They couldn't believe she would go that far. My mom called her back, told her to come to the room. When Dova walked in, her makeup was smeared, but she still tried to act confident, like she was in control. She looked at all of us and said, "I know you're mad, but it wasn't one-sided. Atlas wanted this. He's been giving me signals since we met. Today, he convinced me." And that was it. That was the moment. My mom lost it, slapped her, and said, "We know the truth. We have everything on video." For the first time, Dova froze, completely. She didn't expect that, didn't expect proof, didn't expect to be exposed. My parents told her to leave immediately, before she could cause any more damage, and just like that, she was out. Security was told not to let her back in. At that point, everything made sense. She wanted people to believe there was something between her and Atlas, to ruin the wedding, to break us. But it didn't work, not this time. My dad called a doctor, and it was confirmed. Something had been put in Atlas's drink. That's why he felt that way. That's why he could barely stand. His family was furious, absolutely furious. People talked about it for days. But when Atlas finally recovered, we didn't stop. We moved forward. My dad walked me down the aisle, and despite everything, I was happy, truly happy. But I'd be lying if I said I wasn't shaken because of everything that happened. During his vows, Atlas added something I'll never forget. He promised to protect our relationship from anyone who tried to come between us, no matter who it was. And in that moment, I knew I chose the right person. After our honeymoon, my parents came to visit. They apologized to both of us. for everything. My dad looked at us and said, "She's not part of this family anymore." He had kicked her out, told her she was on her own, and this time, he meant it. Looking back now, I still can't believe how far she went. All those years, the jealousy, the manipulation, the constant need to destroy anything good in my life. And in the end, she crossed a line she could never come back from. For a long time, I kept asking myself, why me? What did I ever do to deserve this? But now I understand. It was never about me. It never was. Some people, they don't know how to be happy for others. They don't know how to build, only how to take, how to break, and how to blame. But here's what I learned. You don't have to keep people like that in your life, even if they're family, especially if they're family, because peace is more important than blood, and respect is more important than history. Today, my life is different, calm, stable, safe. I'm married to someone who chose me, who stood by me, who never gave in to the chaos. And for the first time, I don't feel like I'm competing for love anymore. I just have it. And that's something she could never take from me.
So maybe the real question is, what are we carrying forward? And what are we finally ready to leave behind? Let me know what you think about this story. And if you've been through something similar, I'd really like to hear your perspective. Check out the other videos on the channel. And if you haven't subscribed yet, now's a good time. Take care of yourselves.